Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming for y'all. Happy Tuesday to you. Excuse me. Today, I want to give you guys a perspective. I want to give you something that I've been pondering this for a long time. I've just been, there are many little things, little nests that I have that I ponder, and I feed them with my attention. I don't speak to them. I just observe them because they're still formulating themselves, their cohesiveness within me. And there's several of them, several pods, several nests that I ponder. And one of them I feel ready to come forth and to speak to. It kind of piggybacks off of what I said earlier in my Hey Friend episode. And how your life is your script and you write the characters. You are the main character of your life. And you've got to stand in that main character energy, and everybody else has a particular role to play. And there are some people that in the script of life don't ever want to grow. They've built such a lifestyle off of that particular role. They've done so much to get that particular title or role or character in the script of life that they don't want to go any further with it. They don't feel like, what, I could morph now into this. It usually in life, we get to a certain space and we're like, okay, if you're a creative or even if you're a professional in any vertical, you get to a space where you've mastered that one thing. And in you mastering that thing, it's not like that one thing that you've mastered is the only thing you think about. Like you don't have any other ideas. There's no other fascinations. It's not as if you don't have any other things that you're good at, that you take a fancy to. In fact, there are other things that we may be juggling along with our main thing that we're forging and bringing forward. But while we're forging and bringing that thing forward, we're usually cultivating a bunch of other stuff too in our leisure time. So you would think that these people that, don't want to change, these characters in the script of life that don't want to ever evolve any further from whence they are, you would think that would be kind of second nature for them to do so. You would think, okay, they've sat in this particular stance or this way of existence for this duration of time. They would organically morph or evolve into this other thing. Right? You would think so, but they don't. And that's what I want to talk to today. And that is what God has shown me, most importantly, throughout my journey thus far, is this. When you're groomed by trauma, when you are groomed by trauma, you are not conditioned to see God in the game. You just aren't. That's what that grooming does to you. What do I mean by groomed by trauma? What do I mean by the game? Life, for a lot of people, is a game. The game of life. We hear that a lot. People go about life as if it's a serious game. It's a game that we're in that is real to us while we're in it. Yet it has a particular format to it. And if you can master the format of life, if you pay attention, or if you're birthed into a family, or if you go to the right school, or if you have the right network of friends that have observed life as well, you could come into the knowing of the rules of life. You could be blessed with other people's experiences, which allow you the ability to not go through them but reap the benefit of the knowledge that one that went through it gained. And you can get the upper hand in understanding the environment in which you're in life. And like I said, life is it could be looked at as a game, but a really serious game. A game that costs. Things you defy the laws of gravity, you will experience the results of them. They're fixed. Surely the alchemist can delay them. This comes in with that. This comes to the point that I said of the knowledge. Those that have been knowledgeable and paid attention to this, the rules of life and the nuances of it, have learned how to manipulate it and test it. And they have been able to come back and tell us from their experiences what they experienced and what they knew and what has worked and what hasn't. But the rules are the rules. Yet man is always looking to mimic God. He has no other choice. He's bound to all of the things that God has shown him in this existence. He can go no further than what God has exposed to him. Man can alchemize what God has exposed and blend it to create something different off of the values and characteristics of that which God has already exposed. Whether God looks at it as good or whether God looks at it as bad. We see this in biblical scripture where the people began blending elements together that were not honorable to God, and God called them abominations. But it goes on regardless. So we've established how life can be looked at as somewhat of a serious game. And then we see how God's hierarchy is set up in the kingdom of God. And then we look at man and we see how man creates his hierarchy to mimic God's hierarchy. It's all a mimicry of what God already established. Yet I'm here to tell you that man creates games as well, friend, that mimic God's game. Systems inside of systems. A wheel inside of a wheel inside of a wheel. You can see this in corporate America, corporations, hierarchies, and they all abide by a particular rule book, a particular game. They all play a particular game. They all have a particular law that is universal to all corporations, but then they all have an intrinsic law within that corporation that makes that corporation unique. A mantra. I'm here to tell you that there are people in life that have been groomed by trauma and conditioned not to see God in the game. They've been groomed by trauma. They have experienced such traumatic experiences in their existence that even if they look at life, the body of work that God has laid at our feet and that we all are partakers of, the mathematical precision of that which we are sitting in, the beauty, the elegance, the richness, the majestic nature of all of this, and how it all flows and evolves together. And man will see this and question God. He will get so lost because of the trauma, the extremes, that he will lose his bearing and wander. Yet he will wander proudly. When I speak to extremes, I'm speaking to the scale that I've been speaking to over the last week, the hot and cold, and how that point in between is all the stuff of life. Yet if you focus too much and you spend too much of your time and put too much of your attention and have too many experiences in either side of these extremes, instead of staying in the middle or somewhere near it you're on the freezing cold side or the burning hot side, you will have experiences that are conducive to the extremes of either of those sides. You see, the extremes of either of those sides were not extremes that you were created to reside in. And so in making either side your primary focus and pulling from either side consistently, it changes your value system. Because the experiences you will need to inhabit either side are outside of your creation. They are not your natural experiences. Thus, they will not be your natural responses. You go against your natural nature by inhabiting the extremes of either side. Thus, the weight. If you ever leave either side and migrate back to that mid-ground, that middle place, you notice the difference. You don't notice it as much while you're residing on either side because why? You become fixated. You become accustomed to the volatile extremes of these sides. Yet it is when you go back to the central place, the central axis from which God created you to stand, that you can tell the difference. You notice it. There's a heaviness to it. And now that you are back at the central axis with all of the experiences of either side that you've rested in the majority of your time, it makes that central space, the normal space, seem odd. You seem as if there's something different about this space now. No, there's nothing different. It's something different about you. You have been conditioned by trauma. I'm here to tell you. Groomed by trauma. You have become to love the pain. You've fallen in love with the pain, friend. You want the pain. If ease comes, if loving, natural experiences come, they're not enough anymore. You become proud of the shameful things when you exist on either sides of these extremes. You see, these sides of the extremes bring out from those that inhabit or that interact on either side exclusively characteristics that do not work in the middle plane. When you are vibrating from the central axis, the holistic space, those types of ways are shameful. They're not conducive. They're an anomaly. Yet, because you've had to focus all of your attention on either side of the extreme, they become normal to you. And in your residency within these extremes, you've built yourself up. You see yourself capable because you are able to rest and reside, and you see yourself dominating on these sides of the extreme. So you built your mindset up to believe that your decision to rest at these extremes has made you somehow better. You justify it. Thus, you cloak what those at the middle axis, that rest at the middle axis, will see as shameful. You come and you cloak it with materialism. to make it acceptable so that you don't experience pushback from those that don't experience the extremes as you have. I bring these things up because it's been on my spirit about this game thing. Life is a game. And then I noticed that many of the world experiences or has many games intact. Surely life we can look at as a game, but then there are games within that game. All type of verticals have their own set of game systems you got to play into to ascend within. They mimic the things of God. And what is a game to one person looks as if something different to another. And they're all based upon experiences and mindset. So a person that has been standing at the central axis, balanced, they may teeter here and there, but they're within that realm of centrality, that central realm. And someone that has made the extremes their primary residency will look at the same type of system, the same type of game, the same type of phenomena being imposed upon a person differently. Whereas the one that has made the extremes their primary residency and have allowed the trauma of the extremes to condition them just so that they can manage the extremes will be part of the same game. But because they've played this type of game before, or so they think they have, they use the tools that they used in the previous games to thrive in these extreme environments. And what are those tools? Manipulation, lies, fear. Those are the only tools you can use to thrive in the environments that you were not created to reside in. The extremes. Even if you look for God in the extreme environments, God will come to you in God's spirit upon you from within you and tell you, if you're looking for me to help you, I can help you. Let me lead you out of here back to that central axis point. But that's not what they want. They don't want the central axis. They do, but that game or that system that they're in does not terminate at that. It requires them to rest at the extremes. And they want the benefits of the extremes. But they don't want the stuff. And because God will lead them out of the extremes, they don't want God. Yet, another person looking at the same game or intermingled with the same phenomena within the same game that's terminating from the central axis could know nothing of this game, or could. Either way, they call on God to help them while in this game. And God says, align closer to the central axis. Get back as tightly as you can, as snug as you can, to the central axis point and rest there. And they do. And in them resting there, what usually happens, the longer they stand or rest within that space, buds begin to spring forth from them. New life begins to come forward from within, outward. Things that they always had within them, nothing new. Emanations of things that have been with them all along begin to spring forward and materialize. Goodness comes through. They begin to have profound experiences, spiritual experiences. And those that are at the extreme, that have seen these games come and go because it's part of the conditioning, same game being played. Both of these people are in the same game. Same levels of trauma, life experiences, bad decisions, life stuff. Nobody's exempt from them. Horrendous experiences. Same game, different players. Yet how? One sees God and one flowers and flourishes, and the other does nothing but lie, manipulate, and try to cast fear. Conditioning. Conditioning. They've been conditioned at the level or extreme that is not conducive to their best interest. All of those years of conditioning have not served them. It never will. It's a thief. It's a thief. It has stolen subtly. The experience came to show the contrast. While the ones that rest at the extreme laugh at the one that rests at the central axis and says, oh, they think they're having a profound experience, but it's not. It's just this game that we've been playing. We've been doing this game all along, and they're ha 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 ha, laugh at them. They think they think they're shaming. She thinks she's shaming. She thinks she's Moses. Look at Moses. What Moses over here talking about today? Oh, she got dressed up. What she gonna do? Part the Red Sea? Are you gonna part the Red Sea today? Okay, let me see what you talking about today, friend. What you talking about? Oh, yeah. They laugh at you, boy. They get a good laugh. I bet you they be laughing. I bet you they do. But the one over there at the central axis is having a good old time. I'm telling you. They marking up points on the board, friend, left and right. Left and right. While those that are at the extreme are subtracting. Nothing but subtraction is happening. Why? Well, because in order to rest at the extremes, you've got to play it. In order to rest at the extremes, you've got to be able to go into that thing with a certain level of knowing. You got to. Most don't have it when they enter the extremes. It's not often that one enters the circle with what they need active within them to manage the extremes of that environment. And so what they do, because they want to partake of that environment so badly, they want to capture the moment. Because it's always this moment thing while at the extremes or within the game. It's always the moment. In order to capture the moment, and you're not ready, if you're not solid internally and have a structure internally already serving you, activated, you will manipulate. Oh, you definitely gonna lie. You're going to lie left and right. Friend, you will lie in front of people that know you're lying, and you will not be ashamed. I told you, the extremes is a shame. If you're not active, if you're not already solid when you enter into it, it will make a shame out of you. It will shame you. You will lie in front of people that know you're lying. You will use fear and intimidation. You will try to scare people to make them do what you want them to do. All because you've been through the game so many times and you've been conditioned that you don't see God in it. You don't see it as anything more than a game. Robbing the game. Doing the game a disservice. You bring no value. A placeholder. And what happens is that when scrutiny comes upon the system, the game, what have you, those that bunker down at the extremes, the first thing they do is reach for their relationships to serve them. Yet because of the activity that they chose to exude upon entering the game or the system and managing the extremes, everybody knows that it's a manipulation. Everybody knows it's a lie. So the time that they have to redeem themselves, if you would like to call that, or to open themselves up to morphing into something new, they decline. That moment that they have to sit and expand upon who they truly are and offer that aspect of them up to birth a new aspect of them to bring forward that will solidify them in this new era. Giving them more time in this particular game, they turn down inadvertently, whether knowingly or unknowingly, by defaulting back to how they really view the game and the system. They see it all as a game, a superficial game. So they come with superficialities, lies, dressed up, to people that know they're lying. They will speak a profound word in front of people that know that they're lying. Nothing is legitimate. All of it is superficial and fake. The environment itself, the extremes, do not require you to behave in the manner in which many of those that inhabit this environment behave. It doesn't require that. I want to make that clear. God put this on my spirit. It's not the environment. These traits are reflective of how those that enter within the environment see themselves at the time they enter. That's exactly what is going on. The environment will welcome you as you are and allow it to settle itself. It will allow you to find a way to settle yourself in the environment. It is not the environment that is wicked. Or let's just say, it is not the system that is wicked. The game is not wicked. Friend, when I tell you this thing is a beauty. She's gorgeous. Her streams are full. Her valleys are deep and dark. Her mountaintops are pristine. The game is not wicked. I'm telling you, it's not the game. And see, that's why God allowed me to see portions of these things. Because I am curious. I search it through. I've searched this. The game is not the game. Many people will blame the game. Blame it on the game. No, it's not the game. It's you. It's you. And because you want to partake of the goodness of the game so much, you go against yourself because you don't have the tools active within you to go about it in another way. That's it. And you do things that only harm you. They harm other people too, but you harming somebody else harms you worse. What makes a thing a sacrifice? Whether it's a goat or what have you. Somebody needs to do something on this. Maybe I'll do it. It's how much it costs you. It's the worst thing you can do. But nobody's going to tell you that. It's the worst thing you can do. Against yourself. I'm telling you the facts. That's why God could say, or not God, that's why people could legitimize using these animals to carry the weight of all of their sins. Do you know how many sins these people had? We need to really start looking into the details of stuff. We need to get detail oriented. Do you know how many sins were going on? And you mean to tell me all you got to do is go get a billy goat? An animal? Okay, let's get this animal and we're going to put the sins on the animal and we're done? It seems easy. But there's a huge price. And that's the part that nobody discusses. There's a huge price. We just got through talking about Jesus. We just left Easter. We understood the crucifixion of Jesus. The price. Nobody talks about the price. All we talking about is we're redeemed. We're redeemed. But what was the price? For such redemption, what did it cost those that did it? I'm telling you. For him to be able to overcome death and to overcome hell and to be granted a mansion. What was the price them people paid, friend? I'm here to tell you. Conditioned, groomed by trauma, conditioned to not see God in the game. God is ever present. God said everything is mine, the good and the evil. You just on that side of the house. So you take what comes from that side of the house. That's your decision. Yet God, I said this from the moment I came forward. God loves us so much, friend, that God always sends a vessel. God always sends someone to come and lead us out. Yet because many think it's a game, they think the joke's on them. They will go about it as if it's a game. They will not take it seriously. They will not take their existence seriously. They do not. And instead of taking an opportunity that is before them, a gift, a once in a lifetime gift, to redeem themselves from all of the wickedness that they've done to themselves and others, while at the extremes, they bunker down in the extremes. And they do the same things that they did all along to maintain a spot at the extremes. They lie. They manipulate. They lead with fear. So, this was on my spirit today about how we're all in the game. Every last one of us. We're all playing a role in the game. And in order for you to continue to be a main character in the game, you've got to evolve. You got to be fluid. You got to move with the current. Because if not, you're only going to default back to all the things that allowed you to solidify a space within the extremes. And everybody's seen all of that already. You're not getting no younger neither. I'm 52. I don't know how old many of you are. And they're saying, I've seen all of this before. There's nothing here for me to tune into. Why do I care? Why do I want to see? I don't want to see this. I've seen this already. Next. Next. But when you allow God to move through you, when you are centrally aligned, friend, God will spring forth rivers where there were deserts. There will constantly be newness that you will give birth to and bring forward. That will be useful. That will be invigorating. That people will look forward to see and hear. And that just through the sound of your voice conveying it, or the words that you write on paper, or however you communicate it, will resonate deeply within them. It's timeless. It is a regal thing. And it's not laden down in fashion and all of these things, even though that works too. It's laden down and bound to righteousness, goodness, that even a fallen one can benefit from. Even a devil can sit and see the truth of. You could even minister to devils. You don't think they need ministering? You're mistaken. You're mistaken. I'm here to tell you. All is well. This is my word for you today. You're loved. I'll never stop telling you. Wanted to come on and give you guys something to ponder. We're all in the game. All of us. And what makes it so spectacular is the fashion in which you rise to the occasion and move throughout the game. To be able to move throughout the game by playing by the rules is different than the person that can play the game any old way that they feel like they can. It's a different reverence. Peace and love.